So I just want to begin by thanking all of you for all the work that you are doing. I know the people who are making calls today are, many of you are the same people who were making calls in 2016 and 2017 and 2018 and 2019 and 2020. And here we are, not even a year after defeating Donald Trump, not even a year after taking back the Senate. And we are fighting for our lives here in California, the biggest, bluest, most important state, the headquarters of the resistance in the Trump era, to stop a Trump-like figure, a candidate, a insurrection supporting, big lie propagating, COVID truthing candidate, MAGA candidate, from becoming the governor of this state. And I know that you may have seen polls recently that show that suggest that we could do well in this recall, that political analysts are saying the tide has turned. Here's my message to all of you. Ignore that. That does not matter. And I want you to think about this. Think about how confident you were in the polls in 2016, how confident you were in the polls in 2020 that Biden was going to win by a huge margin. This thing was in the bag. We'd have 55 Senate seats. And this is what I say as somebody who's worked with pollsters his entire career. If pollsters can't figure out how to poll a presidential election, they almost certainly can't figure out how to poll a recall election taking place in the middle of a pandemic. So we should just ignore those polls. And that's okay, because this is California. It is pure math. What happens here is our choice. There are more Democrats than Republicans. The state of California, because it actually cares about people voting, mailed a ballot to every registered voter's house. It is incumbent upon us to find those people, convince them about why this vote matters, why we have to defeat Larry Elder, and to take a piece of paper, fill out one bubble. We're asking you to fill out one bubble, not the 17-page ballot we normally get here in California with state initiatives, local initiatives, city initiatives. You got to fill out one bubble. You got to seal it. The state of California is going to pay your postage, put it in the mailbox, take it to a Dropbox on election day, and turn that. And if we do that, we win. This is not Wisconsin. This is not Georgia. This is not a place where we're fighting voter suppression. The state of California has made it as easy as possible. And all we have to do is go do that work and we will win. And here's why that matters. First, Larry Elder would be a disaster for California. Like, that seems sort of patently obvious, but you do hear some people say, like, well, Democrats have a super majority. It would only, he'd be up for re-election next year. Like, how much damage could he do? Let me tell you what Larry Elder can do. California has begun to turn the corner on the Delta surge, right? Because we have good leadership in this state from Gavin Newsom. We have vaccine mandates, we have mask mandates. The very first thing that Larry Elder will do when he walks in that governor's office is undo our vaccine mandates and our mask mandates. And then what that will really matter is for the millions of California school children under the age of 12 who don't have access to vaccines. And so they will now be exposed to the Delta virus because of this person. Larry Elder can appoint judges. He can appoint a senator, a United States senator, if a vacancy became available in his time, tipping the Senate to the Republicans. And even just on a day-to-day basis, think about what life was like in this country when we had a completely unqualified ideological zealot in the White House during a pandemic. All of that can happen here. You can fire all of the experts in pandemics and epidemiology, everything who are helping guide this state through this pandemic, and replace them with the same cast of Fox News green room rejects that worked for Donald Trump. Like, that is what was on the table here. But I know a lot of you don't live in California. I'm sure you care about us who live in California and do not want to expose our children to Larry Elder as governor. But there are reasons why this matters across the board for everyone. First is, right now, Congress is making a series of decisions on how big and bold to go on President Biden's economic and families agenda. That is going to make a huge difference in millions of people's lives, right? Are we going to keep the child tax credit in place, which has lifted millions of children out of poverty? Are we going to make a real investment in mitigating and stopping climate change? Are we going to finally have childcare in this country? Are we going to become the last developed Western country in the world to actually negotiate prescription drug prices as a government to lower prices for everyone? This is all on the table, and we are doing it with the narrowest majorities in history. And just think about the message it would send to these vulnerable Democrats, the half dozen or so Democrats in Trump districts, the self-identified moderates in the Senate, if a Trump-like figure won the governorship of California right as they're making these decisions. I can promise you that people would run for the exits in that situation. So we as Californians and all of us fighting to stop this recall, if we do that, then we will bolster the Democrats in Washington who are trying to push for real progressive change. And frankly, the Republican Party is still in the last throes of an identity crisis. And the last thing they have, the folks who are still far right, still dangerous in a host of ways, but slightly skeptical of Trump have going for them, is a view that Trump candidates are less electable than other candidates, right? That these people who are a little bit, tiny bit closer to the mainstream, well, a little, maybe they're like maybe a little more Fox News, a little less Newsmax. Here's what I'll say is, if a Trump-like candidate wins California, that is over. Every Republican for the rest of time will be Trump-like. They will be to the right of Larry Elder. This is right before, these are the stakes. And I just want to end by saying thank you to all of you, right? Because this is not easy. It would be so easy to check out after Trump is gone, right? That was the national emergency solved in the most narrow sense of that definition of Joe Biden is there, Kamala Harris is there. These are competent, trustworthy people that we love. The Democrats are in control of the Senate. We can confirm judges. We can prevent Mitch McConnell from doing terrible things. But that's only the beginning, right? That is only the beginning of the step. We have begun to treat the symptoms. We haven't cured the disease. And we will be taking a giant step backwards in what I think is a generational battle against Trumpism. And Trumpism is something that is much bigger than Donald Trump. It's much bigger than Larry Elder. It is a form of neo-authoritarian neo-authoritarian nationalist governance, right? That is trying to decide us on racial lines to ensure that a shrinking white conservative minority governs a growing, diverse, progressive country, right? It governs the majority of Americans. And that battle, we didn't expect it to come in California. We didn't expect it to come in the middle of 2019 at the end of the fun summer we didn't get to have because of Delta virus, but it is right here. And if we do what we need to do, the people continue to work every minute of every day until the polls close, until the last moment in which someone can mail in their ballot on the 14th, then we will defeat this recall. We will, Governor Gavin Newsom will stay. We will send a message to Democrats that if you stand strong on your principles, if you push back aggressively on the anti-vaccine and anti-mask sentiments of Republicans, you can win. And we will send a message to Republicans and say, you're either going to have to come more into the mainstream or you're going to be forever shut out of political power in this country. So that begins right here. The 2022 elections begin in California right now. So just thank you for everything you guys are doing. Good